later on. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye.
Simi Mataji joined.
Fantastic. And let's start sharing the screen here so that we can just bring up the reading order, go over that, and get ready in general to read. And let me know when you can see the screen that I'm just about to share with you. As soon as I get my mouse. Let's stop number 2. Do you see Bhaktivedanta database? Do you see Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Right. So on the reading order, I have Vidyavali Mataji, Sadhana Mataji, Sukumal Radhe Mataji, Varshana Mataji, and Simi Mataji. Anybody I'm missing right now? You're all in?
Yeah, all
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, we are.
Good. We'll get started. So we know that which chapter are you going to read?
16.
16. Thank you. And who is going to read?
Myself.
Okay, please go ahead and do us the honors.
Chapter 16, the divine and demoniac natures. Text 1 to 3. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Text 4. The pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature, O son of Preta. Hare Krishna, Sadhana Mataji.
Thank you. Text 5. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, you are born with the divine qualities. Text 6. O son of Pratha, in the world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demonic. I've already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demonic. Shukamala Radha Mataji.
Thank you. Text 7. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. Text 8. They say that this world is unreal with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost in themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Text 10. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work attracted by the impermanent. Hare Krishna. Simi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Text 11:12. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of their life, their anxiety is immeasurable, bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger. They secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. Text 13:14. The demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man uh, surrounded by uh,
Aristocratic.
aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Hare Krishna. Vindhyavali Mataji, text 16.
Text 16. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Text 17. Self complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifice in name only, without following any rules or regulations. Hare Krishna Sadhana Mataji.
Thank you. Text 18. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Text 19. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence into various demonic species of life. Text 20, Shukamala Mataji.
Thank you. Text 20. Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Text 21. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, perform acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attain the supreme destination. Text 23. He who discards scriptural injunctions and act according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Hare Krishna. Vindhyavali Mataji.
Simi Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Simi
Sorry, Simi
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes, one should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulation, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for reading. And then now we come to the reflection parts of the day. And we also have Soni Mataji who joined us, right? Sonia, can you read today?
Said she can't read.
She said she can't read. Okay. All right. So, but we can talk. We can reflect, read and reflect, hear and reflect.
Mataji, I noticed today this from the first to three that freedom from passion for honor. Most people are Mataji, they're really greedy of honor. Whatever little they do, they feel that they should be thanked and they should be usually appreciated. And they only, it seems that people work only for appreciation. So I was just contemplating on this, that it is so important to be self-content, and when you do something, it should be for the satisfaction of Krishna and not for your own self. I really like this point, Mother.
Right, right. And
Hare Krishna.
thank you. And this kind of a this kind of a behavior is exhibited, I mean, a lot in the material world also. Like, when you're working in a team at work, and then everybody wants to, make sure that they do whatever work that they are doing that gets recognized, and in that process they want to help somebody else, because let the other fail, and then in their failure, I will walk forward and I'll go forward. And I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said, that a lot gets done if we don't care who gets the credit. And it's a very deep statement. It's a very, very deep statement, and it is true. It is true when you don't care, when you're just caring about that one central thing. And um, and this gets, we can extrapolate that to even to very high levels, to very, very high levels. For example, um, even if we are doing something to please others, what to talk of pleasing ourselves, right? If we want to please ourselves, we want to get the recognition, that's all fine. But even when you go to the next stage, when we are saying that, we are doing things to please somebody, then that a subtle thought comes to my mind that I should be the one doing it all. I should be the one pleasing this person. And so then, we get into another rut over there. So we look at when we look at Radha Rani, right? Radha Rani is the beloved of Krishna, and she loves him the most, like nobody else can. That's what Radha Rani is. But then it is Radha Rani who, if she finds that you also want to, come close to Krishna, she's the one who actually arranges. She's the one who will arrange your meeting with Krishna. So you can imagine, because all that she's seeing it is that when a devotee comes closer to Krishna, Krishna feels happy. So she always has Krishna's happiness in her mind, always. And to that extent, she will even do something which might appear to be counterproductive in her doing, right? Look at that. Look at that freedom from, honor, from the passion of honor, or, recognition that I am the best devotee. I'm known for the whole world as the best devotee of Krishna. From there, or Krishna loves me most. She's willing to take that risky path. What if somebody comes and Krishna starts loving them more? Right? She doesn't do that, because her focus is only on one thing, and that is that I am doing everything and I'll do everything to please Krishna. And that's it, like that. So, yeah, very good point.
Yeah, Mother, can I say something on this?
Yeah.
Uh, may I say something, Mother?
Yes.
Mother, Srimati Radharani allowed Lalita Sakhi that today you sit on the, you see, on the swing, and she started doing it because she wanted to give that pleasure to her. And I was just thinking that, see, there is no envy, there is nothing. You see, such a pure love for each other I can be seen.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Mataji.
Yeah. And you see that reflected,
Mother,
yeah, you see that sometimes reflected in the material world also. Sometimes you see families are there, they're siblings, and they grow up and they are so close even after growing up, and where other things, economic considerations, etc., come into picture, they're still very close. Whereas in other families, they are ready to draw swords. Yeah, that's what it is.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but it is divine and demoniac nature. But you were going.
Like mother always tries that my children should do something to please their father, so that the atmosphere in the house is very pleasing,
Yes.
because the father comes after the work,
Yeah.
he's tired, and he should be, you see, given some appreciation that he does so much. And if children say it, father feels very happy, he feels
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
yeah. And mother teaches the children, come and do this, come and do this. That is also one of the things.
Modern days, that is a little bit lacking. I think the more and more I see in younger generation, it's lacking. I think it's
In younger
not that
generation,
much.
it's more other way around, right? It's more other way around.
Where,
Yeah, and I think that
yeah.
also comes a little bit from the guilt the parents feel of not being able to spend as much time as they would like to. Because
Yeah.
so whatever little time that they have, they would like, okay, fine, now let's just
Yes.
leave you. Yeah. So,
Yes.
and this is the qualities of Kali Yuga, that all the finer qualities just
Earlier, lots of things they are changing.
everywhere. Yeah.
Mother, you just now said that Benjamin said there can be, there is lots done if one doesn't care for.
Credit. If we don't care, who gets the credit? And
Yes.
those are not his
Thank you.
exact words, but I'm just paraphrasing that. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
I'd like to welcome the Vijay Lakshmi Nair Mataji, Neelam Sharma Mataji, Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, and Arati Sharma Mataji, who is watching us on Facebook. In addition to all of you, if you have any reflections, please do post them on Facebook. I'm watching that. Right. So, Namazia, how are you doing? Is she driving or what?
She said she can't read, so
Can't read, must be driving then. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Anything more? Any other points from this chapter or from anything else that is burning in your mind?
Mataji, this 22.
Sorry.
Okay.
What?
So I think two people spoke up at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You go ahead, Mataji. Vindhyavali Mataji.
The text 22. The man who has escaped the three gates of hell. So, what is that, Mataji? O son of Kunti, performs act conductive to self-realization.
Go back to
Spread.
21. Go back one step to 21, verse 21.
Yes.
Okay.
Lust, greed, and anger.
and greed.
Uh-huh. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Yeah, got it, Mataji. I got it. Thank you, Mataji.
Mhm. Anything else? Yes, no? No, yes? Are you all ready to go to Srimad Bhagavatam then?
Yes.
If you're done, with chapter.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So then let's just do that. And so we are looking at Srimad Bhagavatam. We are doing first canto. And what were we discussing last time? Does anybody remember that? It's a week old news. So you have to rake your brains or rake your notes.
I don't know.
We did 189, Mataji.
Yeah, but what did we do?
We were talking about this world is of duality is created, and this is actually a playground to enjoy. In the spiritual world, all servitors are also absorbed. They serve without any duality. Uttara went to the Lord for protection, but first she glorified him. That was the point which I really liked. You see, she glorified him very nicely, and then she put forth her request that to protect me. Uh, I remember that.
Very nice.
And from the first chapter, Arjuna also glorified the Lord, and then you see in second chapter, the seventh verse, he says that I um, I surrender unto you, and now you please tell me what to do.
What to do? Yeah.
This is
So
what I
where
discussed.
was the glorification there? Was there any glorification he did? Bhagavad Gita 2.7.
Mataji, he glorified.
Chapter 2, he
No,
Did
in
he glorify?
2.7, no,
no,
no, there was no glorification.
Right?
He
Yeah,
just
what?
surrendered. Yeah.
Yeah, he just surrendered, right? So you have to keep
correct.
that distinction in mind that there was no
Oh, yeah.
glorification, right?
Mm.
Yeah, Uttara also surrendered.
Yeah.
She said, Pahi, Pahi,
Yeah.
protect me, protect.
But he does glorify, and I know that is the reason that thought is stuck in your mind, Vaishana Mataji. He does glorify, but
Yes, Mataji, I wrote down this point that Arjuna also glorified. Now, where I was just thinking.
yeah, he glorifies him in the previous chapter when the Brahmastra is coming at him. This time the Brahmastra is coming at Uttara, right? His daughter-in-law.
Yeah,
But prior it was coming at him,
right.
right?
Hmm.
And then
Correct,
when he
Mataji.
asked that, I don't know what is this effulgence that keeps on following me, when he's asking that, right? And that's when because he doesn't know that there's a Hamas coming towards him, and then he starts glorifying him for 3 verses, and then after that he's says, tell me what should I do, and that's when Krishna tells him that this is a Brahmas that Brahman Bandhu has released at you. So like that.
Mm,
Okay. Good.
okay. Thank you, Mataji.
All right, so good. So we are here, ready to read 1, 8, 10. And whose turn is it to read this now? Who gets to be the lucky person?
Me, Mataji.
Simi Mataji reads it. Wow. Okay. And you
One,
are seeing that, are you? Not.
8 chapter. 10.
Okay. Please give us the Sanskrit for this, Mataji.
अभिद्रवती मम ईसा सरस तपयोस्यो विभो तपत्तयोस विभो कमम धातु मम नाथा मा मे गर्भो निपातयम निपातयतम
Nipatyatam. Mame
निपातयतम
Nipatyatam.
निपात्यताम
Mamisha. Abhidravati Mamisha Sharastapyaso Vibhu Kamam Dahati Mam Natha Mame Garbho Nipatyatam. Okay, so who is saying that? Whose words are these?
Uttara.
Uttara is saying that. All right, now who's going to give us the synonyms?
Abhidravati, coming towards. Mom, May, Isha, O Lord. Sara, the arrow. Stapta, fairy. Ayasha, iron. Vibho, O great one. Kamam, desire. Dahdo, let it burn. Mam, May. Nadha, a protector. Ma, not. Me, my. Garbha, embryo. Nipatyatam, be aborted.
Translation. O my Lord, you are all powerful. A fiery iron arrow is coming towards me fast. My Lord, let it burn me personally, if you so desire, but please do not let it burn and abort my embryo. Please do me this favor, my Lord.
Beautiful.
Purport. This incident took place after the death of Abhimanyu, the husband of Uttara. Abhimanyu's widow Uttara should have followed the path of her husband, but because she was pregnant and Maharaj Parikshit, a great devotee of the Lord, was lying in embryo, she was responsible for his
Action.
protection. The mother the mother of a child has a great responsibility in giving all protection to the child, and therefore Uttara was not ashamed to express this frankly before Lord Krishna. Uttara was the daughter of a great king, the wife of a great hero, and student of a great devotee. And later she was the mother of
A good king.
a good king also. She was fortunate in every respect.
Hmm. Nice personality, Uttara, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Here it is mentioned that she was the mother of a child has a great responsibility in giving all protection to the child, and therefore Uttara was not ashamed to express this frankly before Lord Krishna. Uttara was the daughter of a great king, the wife of a great hero, and student of a great devotee. Mataji, I couldn't understand this.
Okay, let's go to it from the other direction. What are some of the great devotees that you know that we have been reading about?
Arjuna.
Arjuna,
Or-
we have read Arjuna, Yudhishthir,
Okay,
Bhima.
2, 3. Okay, let's take these 3. So let's see whether she was a student of any one of these 3.
I don't think Mataji.
Okay, let's go one by one. Was she a student of Bhima? Did she learn anything from Bhim? Yes, sir? No. Okay.
No.
Did she learn anything from Yudhishthir?
No.
No. That leaves us with one choice. Did she learn anything
Yeah.
from Arjuna?
Yes.
Yeah. And what did she learn from Arjuna? Okay, I will tell you the answer and then we'll dig deeper.
Surrender.
No,
Glorify the Lords.
no. She learned how to dance from Arjuna.
Oh.
Brahannala.
Brihannala. There you go. So when they were in Agyatwas, right, during the 13th year where they were supposed to stay unrecognized, and that's when Arjuna goes as Brihannala. Brihannala is a eunuch, right? And
Yeah.
she is there and she's teaching. And it was quite common for kings to
Oh,
employ.
dance.
Yeah, it was quite common for kings to employ eunuchs. It was not something typical to India also. If you read the history and you go to other places like Egyptian civilization or Iran, Iraq, those places, actually wherever the queens were living and actually um, the kings used to have a lot of wives and they were usually at war. So actually they felt much more safe if their wives were surrounded by eunuchs, right? Because they wouldn't do anything like that. It was felt to be very safe that she's a princess and she has to learn how to dance. If a eunuch is teaching her dance, eunuchs are good at dancing, and so if eunuch is going to teach her to dance, so that's her. And later on, when the Agyatwas is over, coming to an end, and when Arjuna reveals his personality to Virat, Uttara's father, Uttara's father, Virat is flabbergasted, like, oh my goodness, what was I doing? And then he offers his daughter Uttara in marriage to Arjuna. And Arjuna refuses and he says that, but she's my student. A student is like your daughter, son and daughter. So I cannot marry my daughter. But however, he says, I have a son, Abhimanyu, and Uttara can marry him. So that's how he did that.
But that was
Yeah.
here he wrote Prabhupada gave this purport very good, Maharaj.
Yes.
We have to go that far to
Yes.
look at
Yeah.
teacher,
Right. It's amazing like how things are compacted in the Shastras. There's so much, and you can like Vaishika Prabhu says that sometimes when these great devotees and learned devotees of the Lord sit down, I mean, they sit to the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and they can discuss it, for 3 months non-stop like that. There's so much of nectar. It's just super zipped up content. Now there's so many stories, interesting stories. Not just stories; they are happenstances associated with this. Now one might just think that Arjuna is such a great warrior. He's known for his
Yeah.
strength, and so how come he agreed to take the role of Brihannala? Because
Yeah.
if you remember, when we are reading Bhagavad Gita, at the end of the first chapter, Krishna says. Arjuna says, sits down at the back of the chariot, and then the next verse, next chapter opens up again. He's crying, tam tatha kripiya vishtam ashnu purna kolekshanam. His eyes are full of tears. That's how Arjuna is behaving, and Krishna opens up. That's the first time Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita. I mean, he speaks like as Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, right? In that way. Otherwise, as a narration, he does speak in the first chapter also. Right, for a little while he just speaks half a shloka or quarter of a shloka. What does he say in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Krishna, very powerful words.
Dharma Kshetra.
Think about it before you answer. Think, 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 think. Krishna says very speaks very little, and it's not that as Bhagwan Vacha, it is as Sanjay is narrating it.
It is like see the Kurus.
Very good. Uvacha partha paschyetan. Uvacha partha paschyetan. Samvetan kuruniti. Right? So he's saying that he said, "Oh Parth, look at all these." And this is such a powerful statement in Bhagavad Gita because Krishna attracted his attention to the fact that this is your family. Vach Parth Paschyatan Kuruniti. Kurun. Right? The Kurus are there. Oh, like, oh, my family. This is my family. How can I kill? Right? So that sets the ball rolling in Arjuna's head and sets the stage for Krishna to creep in and give the Bhagavad Gita discourse to us like that. This is Avach Parth Paschyatan. And so he does. So going back to that was just a side. Going back to chapter 2, and when chapter 2 opens, and when Krishna opens up and he starts saying, what's the first word? He says, Klabyam masma gama partha netat iti upapadyate shudram hirdaya dorbalyam tak uttishti parantapa. So he says, Klabyam ma sma gama partha. Ma means no. Klabyam is impotence.
Important.
We can imagine that a warrior like Arjuna and you call him impotent. You cannot, right? So it was so insulting. So there are some ways, and sometimes when people are like Slidell and they are not coming up to the mettle and rising to the occasion according to their capacities, and they're just withering it away, frittering it away. So sometimes you have to use harsh words to wake them up, and that's what Krishna does. Klavyam masma gama partha. So don't go to, don't surrender, or don't exhibit impotence. That was the idea, to shake him up like that. And so one would think, and so there, the explanation is that you can't call a Kshatriya as an impotent. And here is a Kshatriya, Arjuna, behaving like an impotent, an eunuch. Brihanala is a lady, right? A lady, half man, like that. And so there's a story behind it. And that is that, so who's Arjuna's father?
Pandu.
Suryadev Ma? No. Mataji, Kunti had prayed to the Lord, and
Indra Mataji.
So let's look at let's look back, go back a little bit into our
Indra.
scriptures. Yes, Indra, yeah. So let's
Indra.
go back a little and recap. And if Kathy Mataji was here, she would have contributed a lot because she heard all of that from her grandmother. She's very, very, very fortunate in that context. So, and I'm just seeing that, so Vidyavalu answered that, he has been answering left, right, and center. Yeah, he taught her how to dance, and it was Indra who was the father. So, so I was, so going back a little bit in history, just to make sure that we understand the scriptures and we know the important references from there. So Kunti's father is Kunti Bhoj, and once Durvasa Muni came to Kunti Bhoj's house. And now we all know Durvasa Muni, right? That if he gets angry, then there's no tomorrow, right? So the idea is that we need to make sure that he's kept happy. And at that time, Kunti was a very young teenager. And she was a teenager, and her father told him, Kunti Bhoj told her to take care of Durvasa Muni. And she took care of everything, took care of him in every possible way. To that extent that she was able to please Durvasa Muni. And who is Kunti? Kunti, we know, is a devotee of Lord Krishna, right? We know subsequently that she's a big devotee of Krishna. That's what we are reading, chapter number 8 of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter number 8. What's the name of that chapter?
Queen Kunti's prayers.
Prayers by
Queen
Kunti.
Yeah, prayers of Queen Kunti. It's a very famous chapter. Right? So she is a devotee of the Lord. And so you see, at such a ripe young age, the good behavior, the divine qualities are coming out of her. And so she's the one who's able to handle Durvasa Muni. So many have failed. Durvasa Muni has cursed people left, right, and center. But it takes a Kunti So if you were to look at Durvasa Muni from the perspective of what we are reading in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, about like how a tortoise withdraws his senses into in the shell, Durvasa Muni doesn't do any of that. He's just out. He lets it out, lets it go. But anyway, so he became very happy with her, and he grants her a boon, and she says that you'll be able to call any devta and have a child.
Yeah.
And these are people who know the future, because he knows in future she will need it. So she gets that boon. And then, so here's the thing about doubt. So Kunti has this little doubt, and she's thinking that, is it really true? The boon that he gave me, is it really
Yeah.
true? Is it really going to happen? So he says, okay, he's given her some mantras. And so she chants that mantra. And of course, like I always tell you, that mantras are very powerful. If you recite them properly, then you will get the result, whatever result you're supposed to get. So then Surya Devta comes to meet her, and then she gets a child through him, because
Yeah.
that's what the boon was. Yes, and that's Karna and not Arjuna. Okay? And then she's an unmarried girl,
Correct.
and she feels like, what's going to happen. So she puts, him in a box.
That is
And,
the problem comes. He goes to Kauravas.
right.
That's why.
So that's Karna. And then subsequently, she gets married to Pandu. And then, pretty soon as she's married, Pandu's called away for another war. And he goes to a war, and in the war, he defeats the king, and the king is happy with him. And so what used to happen was that, when a king is defeated in the war, he would like to now start having a good relationship with the victorious king. So he offers her daughter, Madri, in marriage to him. So you can imagine Kunti's life, that she just got recently married. And as soon as she comes to her husband's home, the husband gets called away in a war, and the husband returns from the war with a second wife. So this is the life of Kunti, right? And very beautiful, very young, and a little bit frivolous also. And so now Pandu, we know, was a little pale in health, right? So he was asked to go on a vacation. So they go on a vacation to a resort, which is in the in forest area. And there, he's happy with his two wives, they're enjoying. And then one day he goes out to hunt, as Kshatriyas will go out to hunt. And so there are people who had the talent and the powers to use Shabda-bhedi Ban. Shabda-bhedi Ban is that you will hear, and from the sound you will figure out what type of a object, who's making the sound, and then you will, in that direction, you will shoot your arrow, and the arrow would go and meet the target. So that's how it used to happen. So he hears an animal grunting, and so he just hears that. So he's relying on one faculty, which is his ears. So he relies on that, and he shoots the arrow, but the arrow goes and hits a particular muni, right, who was there with his wife, and he was intimate with his wife, because he wanted to have a son. And so when this thing happened, um, and 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 Pandu was not wrong 100% in that, because this Muni wanted to have some privacy, and in his ashram he would not get the privacy. So what he did was he converted himself and his wife into a deer, a deer in a foal. And while they were copulating, he made that sound of an animal, and which Pandu heard, and then he lets off the arrow. So the arrow goes and hits him. Now this is what happens in the world of mysticism, is that when you are about to die, and if you have changed your body, and if when you're about to die, then you go back to your original body. Can you give me an example from scripture of a person who had changed the body, but when dying, they retained immediately got their immediate body? What was that example? And I done that.
Mataji,
Rama's deer
Yes,
and
Putna
Lava
golden
Mataji,
deer. Yes,
Putna.
yes,
Putana.
Putna.
deer.
yes.
Gold deer.
Very
Putna,
good.
Putana.
Putna Mataji, Putna came.
Yes, yes, very good. Both of them, the golden deer, Marichi, right?
Golden
So
deer also.
as soon as the bond hits him, he goes back to his Marichi body, right? And Putana, of course, is a very big example of that, right? She goes back to her 6 miles form, right? From that beautiful shape that she has. And so
Shrupnaka also, Mataji.
yes, Naka also. So this is a known fact of in the world of mysticism. So he gets back into his own body, and then he curses Pandu, and he said that because you have killed me, now my generation will be lost, right? So he says, I also curse you that you don't have any sons, so that your generation should also finish like that. He curses, and he dies. So now and the curse was that the moment you try to procreate, you will die. So which was a big thing on Pandu. And then he comes back and he tells all others and things like that, and he has to go back into the forest one more time for Prayaschit and things like that. So over there is when, when he's feeling sad about how do I procreate and how will the dynasty run, that's when Kunti tells him that, I have got this wound from Durvasa Muni that I can call any demigod. And so this way she calls Yamraj, and then Yudhishthir is born. She calls Indra, and then Arjuna is born, and then she calls Pavan, and then
Being.
Bhimsen is born, right? And then the other wife is getting, a little bit jealous. She says, "How come you're doing it? I want it. I want it." I also want to try it out, and she actually tries it out 2 times, and that's when Nakul and Sahadeva are born. I think from the Ashwini Kumaras, they are the fathers. So Arjuna's father is Indra, and like all kids can go and meet their father, so Arjuna also goes to meet his father Indra. And where does Indra live? What planetary system does he live? We talked about planetary system. Upper or lower?
Indralok. Upper.
Upper, right? He lives in upper planetary system. He's in the heavenly planets. Now I was telling you, in the heavenly planets, the rules are different, the lifestyles are different, the karmic reactions are different, and the mood is different. So when this nice, mighty, beautiful Arjuna goes to the heavenly planets, he meets with Urvashi. Now Urvashi is a society girl in the heavenly planet. She's an apsara, and so she looks at Arjun. She's attracted to Arjun, and she proposes to him, and he says that you are like my grandmother, age-wise. You're like my grandmother. I just can't even think of what you're proposing to me. So
She's after him.
yeah, and it's not that she's saying you get married to me or anything like that. She's just out for some little fun, as people do, right? When they are in heavenly planets, people can do these kind of things. And because it's a planet of enjoyment, you enjoy left, right, and center. You don't think of these subtleties at all. So she goes and so when she gets angry, she curses him, and he says, "All right, you will have to become impotent." Right?
That curse when Ajnatavas, will be a boon for him. Brahmana.
Exactly. So that curse gets utilized in a positive manner by Arjuna when he has to go into hiding, and she comes there as Brihannala. And then, so that is a very long answer to your question, Varshana Mataji. She heard from a devotee. She heard from a devotee of the Lord. She would learn from a devotee of the Lord, like that. Yeah.
So Mataji, from Surya Dev she got Karan, from Yamraj she got Yudhishthira, from Indra she got Arjun, and these two younger ones is Sahadev and
Nakul.
Nakul and Sahadev. She
Nakul.
got Ashwini Kumars.
Ashwini Kumar.
The 2 brothers, the doctors, the celestial doctors.
Because Urvasi, Arjun won't accept her. That's why she gives that curse that you will be either no lady and no man. That's Napus, she says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Bhima Mataji?
Pavan.
Huh?
Pavan. Wind.
Pavan.
Yeah.
Wind.
Pavan Devta, Pavan Kumar. Who else is Pavan Kumar? Who else?
Hanuman.
Hanuman.
Yeah, so Hanuman and Bhima are brothers.
Yeah.
And Yudhishthir Mataji, you said Yudhishthir?
Yamraj.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay.
Let me write it down myself too.
Yeah, I will ask you next Saturday.
I didn't write. Oh God, everybody wrote it. I didn't write it. Mataji.
Don't worry, it's recorded. Go back and listen to it again.
Mm.
Oh, that's such a point, huh?
Yeah, you
God.
listen to it again, then it also gets etched into memory. Otherwise, if you listen to something, after a week, only 17% of that is retained. It goes very fast, yeah. So you have to constantly revise and revive, and keep constantly think about that. Then it'll come to you. Yeah, yeah. So more from this verse. We have still 12 minutes to go. More from this verse.
Only
Say that again, Mataji.
12 minutes.
Lolyam. Good. So Krishna, she turns to Krishna. Uttara turns to Krishna, right? Turns to
Yeah.
Krishna for protection, right? So let's talk. And yesterday, not yesterday, last week, I had talked about that there are 10 topics that are covered in Srimad Bhagavatam, and that there is a verse. And I know Varshana Mataji noted down that verse. What's the verse number? It talks about Atta Sarga Visargocha Sthanam Potanam Utaya Manmantari Shanu Katha
Good.
Nirodho Muktir Ashrayaha. Do you remember that once? We did that, yes, last week, did we? Ten topics, right? Should we have a look at it again? It's a very important verse. Let's just bring it up because it's tied to what we are discussing in the current verse here. And a very easy way to remember that that verse is that it is in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's in the second canto and the last chapter, which is only 10 chapters in that canto, and it's the very first verse of the last chapter. So vedabase.com, Srimad, okay, let's go there. And Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, and now we tell them that it's in the second canto, 10th chapter. Okay, and whose turn is it to read now? And
I think
hold on.
Oh, Varshana Mataji's.
Varshana Mataji's?
I
Okay.
read last.
And anybody, nobody new joined us now, right? I'm not missing any Mataji, right? Okay.
Lekha Mataji is there.
Sulekha, can you read?
She added it.
Yeah, Mataji, I think you added me to the
I
list
added you
after
also. Yeah, she
Simi
can read.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to read though?
Not yet, Mataji.
Okay, then why don't you go ahead and read? Yeah. Because others have already read. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Oh. Shishuk Uvacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Yasthana Poshanam Mrityaya Manvataryeshanu Katha Nirodho Muttirayashraya.
Ashraya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Muttirayashraya.
Yeah. Shri Shukuvacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utayah Manvantarai Chanu Katha Nirodho Muktir Ashrayaha. So there are 10 topics, and let's see, we'll find out the 10 in the synonyms. Okay. So who's going to give us the synonyms now?
Mataji, I think Namasya Mataji said she can read.
She can read now? All right.
Oh, she's there?
Yeah.
We'll bring in Namazya Mataji and we'll bring her here. Okay, Namazya Mataji, go ahead and give us.
Thank you. Thank you. Sri Sukhaha Upacha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami say, Atra, in this Srimad Bhagavatam, Sargaha, a statement of the creation of the universe. Visargaha, a statement of the sub-creation. Cha, also. Istahanam, the planetary systems. Posanam, protection. Utayaha, the creative impetus. Bantara, changes of manus. Isa Anukataha, the science of God. Nirodhaha, going back home, back to Godhead. Muktihi, liberation. Ashrayaha Desumon Banum.
Samam
Hare
Bonam.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's see. So Atra means in this Srimad Bhagavatam. Now here are the topics that are discussed. So what are the topics discussed? Let's see. What's the first topic they're saying?
Creation of the universe.
And what is the Sanskrit for that?
Visarga.
Hmm?
Sargaha.
Sarga. Right. So creation of the material universe is the Sarga. Okay, that's one topic. What's the next one?
Visarga.
Visarga.
Subcreation.
And what is Visarga?
Subcreation.
Sub-creation. Okay. And then
Sthanam, the planetary systems.
Sthanam, the planetary systems. Did you hear about Sthanam? Did you hear about the planetary systems from somebody recently? Did somebody tell you
Yes,
about the planetary
Mataji, you had discussed about the planetary system and had given the you see the diagram also shown here.
Yes. And did we
Up
Brahma Samhita.
and Ganges coming down, you see, in Brahm Samhita, correct, Mataji?
Yeah.
right. And did we read some passages from Srimad Bhagavatam about the Sthanam? The planetary
No.
systems, did we read? Sections defining the heavenly planets, with Vindhyavali Mataji really liked because she wanted to taste the mangoes there. You remember?
Yes.
The river
The upper
mango juice, right?
planets.
And then there was the and then there was the hellish planetary systems, you remember? And then you all said, okay, now we are going to come regularly to this class because we have read the hellish. Remember that? I'm just kidding.
No.
Yeah,
No.
all in the fifth
No.
canto. Okay. Sthanam. Okay. So Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam. 3 topics are covered. Then what's the 4th topic?
Protection.
All
Poshanam.
right. Now,
Protection, Poshanam.
did you really read about Poshnam sometime recently? About protection?
Yeah.
How long
Uttaras.
ago?
Uttara's protection.
Exactly. Right now you're
Yeah.
reading about it. Okay. All right. And then what is Uttaya?
Manvantara is of Manu.
Go properly.
Uttaya, the creative impetus.
Uttaya, the creative impotence. What makes you to create? Right? Okay. So that is 5. Then
Manvantara.
Manvantara. So they will talk about the various manus in a day of Brahma. There are 14 manus. So they will pick up some personalities from the life of each manu. Talk about the manus like that. Okay. So that is Manvantara is 6. Then
Ishanukatha,
Ishanukatha is what?
the science of God.
Yes. So that's 7.
Nirodha, going back. Wait a minute.
Nirodha means
Going back home to Godhead.
yeah. Nirodha is when you get rid of all the material conceptions that you have and you go back to Godhead. Right? Very good.
Mukti,
And then Mukti is number 9.
liberation.
Liberation. And then
Ashraya,
Ashraya is
Samabhanam.
Samambhumanam. So who's your Ashraya?
Krishna.
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 Right? If you make Krishna your Ashraya, then good things will happen. If you try to take shelter and refuge in anything else, only misery is going to result from that, because this is a dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is a place of misery. Okay? So you should know that these are the 10 topics that are there because we are discussing these things in detail. So I was focusing on the
This
Poshanam
is
part of it. Right?
2.10.1.
Yeah, 210.1.
210.
So yeah, so this is what we are reading right now is about protection of the Lord. And so Lord will protect people in so many ways. And there are so many examples of Krishna protecting. This is one. Uttara, he's going to protect.
Agasura.
Right? Yeah, he protected his cowherd boys from Aghasura. And of course, yeah, of course, if you read the Krishna book, he's protecting every day, right?
Every day.
He protects all of us also like that, right? And so the kind of protection he will give will also vary. For example, sometimes the devotee is asking Krishna for protection, like Arjuna asked. Arjuna just said, I don't know what this is. And please help me. So Krishna told him, this is a Brahmas, told him that, you know how to counteract that Brahmas. So you go ahead and counteract it, right? So he gives help in that way. Uttara, completely helpless. But Uttara knows what is happening. She knows that there's a Brahmas coming at her, but Uttara is completely helpless. Arjuna could do something about the Brahmas. Uttara was she's pregnant and doesn't have the knowledge. So then Krishna takes very good care of her, right? Not only does he contract the Brahmas, but because by the time the Brahma has entered the womb also. And then when he enters the womb inside, and then he destroys the Brahma. So that's the kind of protection Krishna is giving to people.
Govardhana Parvata also.
Sorry?
Govardhana Parvata.
Yeah.
Govardhan also.
Govardhan Parvat also, like that. So and the talking about Govardhan Parvat, which will be my last comment, is that in the Govardhan Parvat, who did he protect?
All the
All the gopis, gopals,
Gopas
all
and
the Brijvasis, the village.
Gopas and everything.
Yeah. And let's ask that question one more time. Who did he protect? And who did he protect?
And
Uh, Gopis, gopals, all the cows.
Cows and calves, I said.
Plants, Mataji.
Cows and calves.
And
Himself.
okay. And who else?
His parents, Mataji, David, Yashoda, and Nanda Baba.
Yeah.
All Brijvasis, Mataji.
Okay, so let's take a step back and look at this episode, and which is that Indra was unhappy, and Indra had sent the clouds. Okay, Indra had sent the clouds, which are usually used. Those are clouds that are utilized at the time of devastation by water. Right, when the planetary systems have to be devastated by water, that's when the Samyanta the clouds are. Huh?
He protected the plants.
No, plants are already covered. So he sent the Samyata. Now let us take a step back and let's visualize that if Krishna had not lifted the Govardhan hill, right? If Krishna had not lifted the Govardhan hill, then what would have happened to the Brajvashis?
Indra's torrent of rain would have destroyed everything.
Destroyed everything, right? Okay. What would be the effect on Indra for that?
He would be punished.
Yeah. So who did Krishna protect?
Indra.
Indra also. So you see,
After
what happened is that Indra is a devotee of the Lord. And if Indra has just come under the grips of anger, and you remember, Dhayato Vishwan Pumsan, that verse that we are doing in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, 62, 63. So that particular verse talks about that if you're contemplating and then your memory is bewildered and your intelligence is lost. And then when your intelligence is lost, then only you'll do something like that. That is not even time for universal, not even time for the water catalysis, not catalysis, that, annihilation. And you are sending those that you are responsible. You have been given the responsibility of such powerful weapons, and you are using it in a wrong manner. And he would have suffered from so much of Vaishnava aparad. There are Vaishnavas living there, so Krishna protected him. And then later on, when Indra recognizes and realizes his mistake, then he comes and when he wants to talk when he wants to talk to Krishna, then Krishna meets him not in public, not in front of not in the square, not in the village square. He goes and meets him in a private place. Why? Because he knows that Indra is the king of heavens. He has got a certain, I am this. Yeah, he's got and a position. So he agrees. Like when he's surrendering and he's bowing down and is agreeing, he does that in private. So Krishna protects to that extent. He also protects the feelings. So these are some of the examples of protection that Krishna offers.
Mataji, he did Brahmaji also. No?
Yes.
Brahmaji also prayed like that.
Yes. Okay. So, on that happy note of knowing that Krishna is there to protect us, we'll call it a day today. We'll meet again Saturday. Tomorrow is Saturday, starting 7 o'clock in the morning with a fantastic Japa session with Vaisheshika Prabhu, broadcast on ISKCON Silicon Valley channels. And then in the evening, we'll all assemble again at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we will do Brahma Samhita and Bhagavad Gita. All right.
Yeah,
You
thank you so
feel
much.
like doing, but
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Good.
Don't like going, but we have to go.
Hare Krishna.
Don't
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat pranam. Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna to
Dandavat
everybody.
pranam, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat
Thank you
pranam,
so much.
Dandavat
Mataji.
pranam. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, Zoom watchers.